You may go, Frank.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Skeleton Crew After Show right here on JLJ Media. Tonight we'll be breaking down season one, episode three. Very interesting as an astrogration
Right?
problem.
Yes. And he said that in the show. Great.
That's true. Which seems like this is kind of the theme we'll be running forward. Seems like the titles will be based off of lines of dialogue, which would be interesting. I am the least attractive of the three gentlemen gathered together to discuss
Not true.
Not
this
true.
series. Frank Moran, joined as always by the resident heartthrob, the man we all aspire to be. Women love him, men want to be him.
Yes.
John Dunphy.
I can
Woo!
I can confidently tell you that none of that is true. But I appreciate it.
And of course, the man who without whom all of this would not be possible. We would not be able to give you all the Star Wars content that you'd like to see with your eyeballs or enjoy with your ears. James Lott Jr.
I
Whoa!
I like to say ear holes. That's my favorite. So your eyeballs or ear holes, right?
Mm.
And thank you.
Yeah, balls and holes.
Balls and holes. That's what we're doing. We're a bunch of teenagers. That's what we're doing here. Yes.
I'm sorry. Sorry, James.
I love it. Oh, I love it. So no complaints here.
Before we dive into this episode, as always, make sure you liked and subscribe this while you're watching it or listening to it, and feel free to follow JLJ Media for all the latest and greatest news on not just Star Wars after shows, but all the wide variety of content. And of course, the super chat is enabled, so if you feel so inclined, JLJ Media is always appreciative. Uh, so without further ado, as we dive into this, gentlemen, I feel like one thing we did not talk about last week, so I just want to start it off right now, is the music, particularly the score of the theme. I feel like the Skeleton Crew theme and as well as the credits theme, I'm really enjoying. John, as a resident musician, I feel like how are you feeling about the music?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it as well. I feel like there are moments where it feels very Star Warsian, like James likes to say. I get those vibes of like I hear like little elements of like even original trilogy Star Wars music, like John Williams inspired, but also some new stuff. Um, there's even a point where like I think it's the is it Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett? There was a moment where I heard something and I was like, that sounds like something from another show. Like I feel like they're definitely combining old school Star Wars music with some newer elements, and I'm definitely really enjoying it.
Yeah, because I feel like that especially the credits, it's just like such a kind of like a lower kind of key and just kind of like a chiller vibe thing that I really dig. James, how about you? Has the music stood out to you?
So I'm the opposite. I'm very underwhelmed by the theme
Oh,
song, but I do like the music in the series, in the episodes, and the end credits are fine. But I feel like I'm underwhelmed by the. I think it's nothing stands out to me. It's
It
quick.
does,
It's just quick.
yeah,
It's lovely music, but I don't. It doesn't do anything for me. The actual theme.
yeah. I I do agree. I wouldn't necessarily say I was underwhelmed, maybe, but I do feel like the theme in particular is a little more subtle than the rest of the music, like throughout
Yeah, yeah,
like
it
the
is.
episodes and stuff like that. It's definitely way more subtle, but I do enjoy it.
So, would you say you were just whelmed?
Yeah, I would say overall I'm pretty whelmed. Yeah.
Not over underwhelmed, just whelmed. Um,
but there's something
uh,
about that subtle nature that I enjoy. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have the bombastic kind of fanfare of some of the other Star Wars stuff. I don't know. I kind of dig it.
but see,
Yeah.
I feel like because it's kind of a kid show. I feel like the theme song should be something very recognizable and kind of fun.
A little more fantastical.
Yeah. Oh, I like that word, fantastical. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Like
do have
Yakety Sax or something like that.
a zither. I don't know. I just think it should be just something a little more. I don't know. I just something even quirky. I wouldn't mind something quirky. But the rest, like I said, the rest of the music for the scene, that's great. I have no problem with that stuff. But but that for the theme just doesn't. It's not. I said I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just kind of like okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we're wrapping up the show early
You know, I
tonight.
don't see you guys next time. Like, I might see you later next Sunday. Thank you very much. That's
I
it.
don't know if this is something we can come back from now. So,
Wow.
uh, James Lott Jr., we've watched the first 2 episodes last week. We're now on episode 3. We've got 8 episodes this season. How are you feeling about this episode overall?
So we were saying this behind the scenes, and I see Tony JC's in the chat. You watch soap operas. I said it felt like one of those weeks you have on soaps we call it it's like just a lot of talk. Not a lot happened. There was some action, but we got a lot filled in. So for that reason, I'm in. I enjoyed it. We get to see all different personalities dealing with Jude Law's character. We met some new characters. I like the cinematography of it. I kind of like the feel of it and everything in general. And we got some more answers about Ad Atom. So for me, it's still another stellar episode. It just wasn't. So now my thing is, okay, now that you've done that, 4 episodes on need to be full on story drama. You know what I mean? Like this was good because and we had some answers. And I just feel like we got a bunch of answers, which I have no problem. I'm like now I feel like now it's set the stage for me to see what's we got. We got good guy, bad guy. I'm ready now. I'm ready for a full on story. So I'm okay with this episode. So I would give this episode in terms of enjoyment, I enjoyed it a lot. I think the first episode was a little better. Of course, it had more action. But I would say I would give this like a B plus, A minus. I was in terms of my enjoyment.
All right. Ooh, John Dunphy, do you agree or disagree with Mr. Lott?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this show. I just think it's a fun show, and I think the performances have been good. I think the kids I think that there are sometimes I know like seeing young kids get introduced into like the Star Wars universe, sometimes they don't do as good of a job. We don't want to blame the kids, but but still, like sometimes it takes you out of the story a little bit. And these 4 kids that we're following, at least in this main cast, have been a lot of fun. I think all of the kids are doing a great job with their performances. It hasn't taken me out of it. Nobody's giving like a weak performance, I feel like. I really like Jude Law's character. I think he's doing
Okay.
a great job of being mysterious, and that's what's interesting about this show too, is that there is some mystery involved in it. But as a show that's geared more towards kids, there's some stuff that's also pretty obvious. Like the second we saw the masked captain in the first episode, I was like, "That's Jude Law." Like it's pretty clear where some things are going. But there is still like a little bit of a mystery to the show, and I really like how they're kind of balancing that. I think the pacing has been great. I haven't been like bored at any moment. There's one thing that I was thinking about because I feel like we have had good guys and bad guys, and I feel like you could look at Jude Law's character maybe as somewhat of like a villain, or his pirate crew that we now know that like threw him in the brig after their big score in episode 1 didn't work out. Like I know that we have some bad guys, but I feel like we're because there's only what 6 episodes in this season, right?
No, there's 10,
8.
8.
Oh, there's 8. There's 8. Okay, so we're not quite halfway through. Because I was thinking, for some reason, I thought there were 6 episodes. So I was thinking we were halfway through the season, and I'm like, I'm still waiting on like the big bad villain. So I'm wondering when that's going to be like introduced. Because I feel like we haven't really seen the true bad guy yet. I'm just waiting for that, and I feel
Right,
like
so you don't think that that one guy, not Brutus, whatever his name, you don't think he's a bad guy?
which one?
The one who was running the jail and stuff. You don't think he is?
Like which is that
Let's say, is it
the big
Brutus?
the big wolf guy?
The guy. Yeah, you don't think he's a bad guy?
I I just I don't know. I'm not getting like main villain vibes from him. I'm getting like henchman vibes from him more. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's some kind of big bad villain we haven't been introduced to yet, and I just hope we don't get too far into the season without meeting that person. If there is that, I could be totally wrong. But I feel like Star Wars in series recently, especially like um Mandalorian, right, where we kept getting just kind of teased with Giancarlo Esposito. I feel like sometimes they hold the villain back too long where you don't get to see that character get fleshed out. And I just don't think anybody that we've been introduced to yet has carried the weight of like the main villain of a show. And I just hope we don't wait too long to see that if we haven't gotten that character yet.
Frank, what do you think?
Uh, yeah, I surprisingly I was coming around a lot only because it was addressing some of the stuff that I was curious about. So for me, I much like a good improv scene. I mean, you just want to get like the info dump right out at the top, so that way you and your scene partner are on the same page, and the audience is like, yeah, we know what's going on. Now we can just enjoy what you guys are doing because we know what the deal is. So, I mean, I feel like this doesn't answer every single question, but it answered enough that you're just like, all right, cool. I'm more invested in now uh, the bigger mystery of what Atten is. And uh, like how well even the people that live there even really know what Atten's all about, because it certainly seems from the few parents that we got to see in this episode, all the kids' parents, like even they're like, like wait, hold on, what do you mean we can't get our kids back? What do you mean somebody's outside the Great Barrier and that means they're just lost? What's going on there? So I feel like even the parents aren't fully aware of what they're involved in, which is interesting. And I will be curious, given how quickly we kind of tip the card of like the kids know what the deal is with Jude Law's character. We know, we know that there's a mystery of Ad what that's going on. Uh, is the next episode them getting back I'm to the planet, and then we're uncovering who the supervisor is and what the reasons why Ad has been still remains hidden.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like they're doing a great job of showing the disconnect too between the people that live on this planet and the rest of the galaxy because as we got further into the episode without saying too much about it, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but just the fact that like the war was mentioned where the Empire was taken down and the kids were like, "What war?" Like
Yeah.
that right there like blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my God, they don't even know about this whole war and Luke Skywalker and this and that." Like so but yeah,
They
I just
mentioned they mentioned Coruscant as one of the
and
planets.
Coruscant and Alderaan, right? And they were like, Alderaan, what?
Yeah.
So like without getting too far into it and too far ahead, I just love the way the show is like illustrating this divide between the
Yeah,
people of this planet and having no idea what's happening in the rest of the galaxy. I think that's a great job that they're doing.
Yeah. And I will say, for as much as uh, Fern was kind of driving me crazy in the first couple episodes, here I felt like she was pushing the right buttons. I thought she was used well, where she constantly kept on saying, "Come on, Jude Law, what's your deal? There's no way he's not a Jedi. Get out of here."
Yeah.
right.
So I did like. I felt she was used more effectively in this episode for sure. Which brings us right to where we started at. We left episode 2 where the kids discovered Jude Law's character, we also discover many names for Jude Law's character.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah, it's like so. Yeah,
it's Silvo, it's Crimson Jack, it's Jod. Whichever name he's going to go by, which I guess whatever is going to best help him in whatever situation he's in.
yeah,
But we start off episode 3 with them getting out of the cell that they're in. Uh, Wim, of course, is all in on him being a Jedi. Fern is like, get out of here, no way. How did you even do this? Why'd you wait? If you're a Jedi, why couldn't you have gotten yourself out? Uh, you know, Jude seems to have the answers to all those questions. Like it's sure I could get myself out, but I have no starship.
right.
You guys have a ship finally. So let's do this. So they make their way very quickly. They get right out there, get over to the ship, but then realize like, hey, we're not leaving without SME or SM-33. And this is the part too where I was just like, Jude Law was like, all right, I guess I'll go back and get him. Uh, like he could have just taken right off. He didn't need to like, hey kids, uh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna overpower you and just take the ship and we're gone. Uh, but he decides to go back for SM-33. Uh,
as the director said to do that. Okay. No,
that's true.
no. I think the part of I was thinking what you were thinking to us, love. I go, well, it's because I think they want to show us that it's that him interacting with the kids, he doesn't want to do too much to them. But like, so maybe they're trying to they'll forge some kind of alliance at some point. So he's like, okay, I'll get the droid. Like, why not? Appease the kids. I thought that was that whole thing was like maybe that was just something like there for that.
John, do you feel like after this episode, do you have a better sense of who's Jude Law's character is, or do you think there are still further secrets to be uncovered?
I definitely think there's still further secrets to be uncovered. Like if I could take my best guess right now, I would say because it seems like it's not like any tricks that he's. I think he does actually have the Force. If I had to like guess, I would say that maybe he was some kind of like Jedi Padawan. That at the fall of the Jedi, temple and all that, he kind of just was abandoned and kind of found his own way and became a pirate. Um, if I had to just throw out a guess, I'd say it was something like that. But I think there's still a lot of mystery surrounding this character that I'm excited to learn about. Um,
He's an anti-hero. That's,
yeah,
I think that's what they're trying to give us. He's a gray area character where he's not a full out villain, obviously,
right.
but he's not altruistic either. He's out for himself. But this is Star Wars, Frank. You know, that's how you do. They have to have the he's out for himself, but then he has a soft side. I think these kids will be his soft side.
I mean,
Yeah.
other than like Kumail Nanjiani's character in uh Obi-Wan Kenobi, we've not like he was like character that was like kind of like a grifter of sense. I'm pretending to be a Jedi, but I'm really not. I'm just conning people to get what I need. Uh, and so easy to see how he kind of manufactured all these kind of what seemed like Jedi-like abilities. Uh, Here though, with Captain Jack or Crimson Jack, uh, I mean, we've seen him levitate a key. We've seen him cause the good old force distraction of making a sound appear in a different area to go get them. He kind of turned the lights off on the ship when it was time to get some sleep for the kids. Uh, I don't know. I could buy into John's thing that he has, he at least has some affinity towards the Force, whether he was a Padawan or never even got that far to even becoming a Padawan, but just has this little bit of knack. I don't know if I would go so far as what we talked about last episode that was like, oh, maybe he's like Balin Skoll, where he's kind of a gray kind of figure within the Force.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I mean, I agree with that. I disagree with that. I think it'd be actually interesting to see if he had an origin story. Curious what the story, what they would write him, because I feel like that he's not complete. Like he can be put anywhere. Because also this show, you can tell they have a lot of comedy,
Hmm.
throwing in a lot of comedy in there. I'm noticing there were times I did chuckle at a couple of things, but it's basic comedy. It's like major. It's not like slapstick. It's like I'm not tired. She's knocked out. Like that.
Right,
I
right.
just told anybody who has kids, you've been with that before. Like just it's like basic. And I think for him, he is playing that kind of almost like Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's like this character that his past is probably very murky at best, probably, but like there's something in there where he's not completely bad. And I think these kids are going to bring it out in him somehow. I mean, I guess I could be wrong too, but I just feel like I think he's great.
Yeah. I think you're right though, James. I think that's exactly I really do. I agree with you that like he is this conflicted character, sort of a gray Jedi, maybe that has a checkered past, and these kids are going to bring the best out of him. That's what I think that we're going towards.
I mean, definitely checkered past. I mean, because even with the interaction we haven't got there yet with Homegirl, the owl character, it's like they kind of get along. They kind of they know each other, and obviously he did something to her, but she has still allowed him in and helped him. So there's something. I mean, it's kind of like that's for us or me and Frank who watch General Hospital, it's like a Luke Spencer character. It's like that. Just why he just kind of comes in and he's a scoundrel of sorts, but you still help him on some level. There's something there. He
Right.
charms his way.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of mercurial aspect of it. Like he could just as much help you as screw you over.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
Right. Depends
Yes.
on
yeah,
the mood he's in.
Yeah.
I
that's
just
true.
So yeah, right.
and
I think yeah.
I also like I'd like to even go back and rewatch some of the conversation that the kids were having in the cell before they broke out because I feel like I know that they asked him like, "Well, why did you wait till now to break out?" And he was like, "Well, because I didn't have a starship and you said you had one, so I broke out." But I feel like I almost wonder if that would have happened, that scene would have played out the same way if they hadn't because I believe they had also talked about the fact that they were from Atten. And I feel like that was really the driving force behind him breaking out with the kids. If they had just said, "Oh, we have a starship and we're from this random planet," like I don't know if he would have been like, "Oh, let me jump up and get out of here with these kids." As soon as he heard At-Atten, I think that was the driving
Well,
force,
yeah, and
which I
he told his
yeah.
buddy that basically. He's like,
Right, and I feel like that's why he went back for SM-33. I feel like that's why he's still letting the kids stick around, even though he just escaped. It's like he needs them. Uh, you know what I mean? Like it's like he actually needs them to try to get this score he's been after for so long. But
yeah.
somewhere along the way, the kids will remind him that that's not really what he wants. He wants to be a good, a good person. So
I mean, I do like that, as far as we know, all cards are on the table in terms of who Crimson Jack is with the kids. To the point where, like, yeah, some of them are more. I mean, I feel like Win and Neil, once they find out that he's not really a Jedi, a little bit more hurt, but probably maybe more still willing to trust. Fern and KB, not really feeling it at all, but he has information and knows how to fly a starship. So that is still of use to them there. And Captain Jack is not hiding at all either. Or it's like, I can help you get home, and if I get some, cash or something out of it for my troubles, fantastic.
Yep.
So I feel like, the kids know where he's coming from. He's definitely driven by, I want to get out of here and I want to get some money.
yeah.
So look, how can we make both happen?
Or there's that scene where the kids were sitting around waiting for him to come back with SM-33, and it was like a very kid dialogue, like almost like like it was like it made me laugh, it made me chuckle. So I'm like, this show is like saying we're going to also do comedy in here. We're going to throw some stuff in here that is very kid. It's kid. Um, they are integrating that in there very much. That we know we're not going to forget these are kids, and such a different. They did it with Leia too and Andor, kind of. Or was it Andor? Or what was she in?
Oh, Kenobi.
Kenobi. There's a little bit of humor in it. She was a kid. A little bit of humor in there. Some of the other shows they don't really do that. I mean, like, you look at Acolyte, and I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like these kids they're being allowed to be kids going on an adventure. That's the premise, right? That's how half the premise. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so far we've not, we don't know how bad Jude Law's character is. Only for this episode where we do see him as he goes to get back at some 33, he does run into like I guess we're going to call it the confiscation room, the droid room.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, hey, they let you out. I'm really surprised you got let out. You were my favorite captain." And before he announces who he is, Jude Law already has his blaster around, ready to, who knows, shoot, to kill, stun. I don't know. But we also, like, when Jude Law is trying to get out of that, and it seems like he's going to be able to just leave. And then his old shipmate says, like, why don't we just call the security and we all just sit down and talk about it? We deliberately cut from that scene, and we don't see him again until he's actually back on one of the ferry boats, making his way over to the ship. So we have no idea. Did he kill the guy? Does he stun him? How cruel and mean is Crimson Jack? John?
I for some reason I got the impression, I could be again totally wrong, but I got the impression that he didn't shoot or stun that guy, but maybe bribed him.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I think he might have said, "All right, listen, let me go. When I make this score, I'll come back and make it worth your while." That's what I got from it, but I could be wrong.
That's what I got too.
I think he disemboweled him.
Yeah, gutted him like a fish.
What I did like, though, is James was talking about that scene where the kids are talking in the cockpit of the ship. I do like how it's framed, where we get to see the view screen behind them, and we see Jude Law racing back in the ferry boats as he's being pursued by a couple other ferry boats.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Just really nice how that all is all framed together.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, it made me laugh. Like the kids are all fighting back and forth, but he's out there actually fighting.
Yeah. This was all a lot of fun to me because even when he gets back in the ship and he's trying to take off and they're tied up.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, we have to go to hyperspace. And KB's like, isn't it really bad to jump to hyperspace when you're tied to something? Like, and then they just show all the kids as they're going to hyperspace, like,
that's
like,
good. That's good. But that's my thumbnail is them all screaming. So that's
yeah. It's just this show has been so much fun. I really I'm having a blast with it.
Me
So
too. I agree. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, their departure from that pirate port, uh, as John was saying, doesn't go smoothly because they are still connected to the fuel line as they're trying to leave. And again, it's always interesting when you see something in Star Wars you really haven't seen before, whether it's in The Last Jedi where they do that, where the Holdo maneuver, where they blast through a bunch of the
Yes.
uh, yeah, the First Order ships. This one we see what happens when you go to light speed while still connected to something, which, as far as I know, doesn't have any really damage to the vessel being attached, but everybody else that's behind is not is
Boring.
not in.
Like, watch out, everybody! It's coming back at you. It was like that made me laugh too. Kind of. It was like there's always destroying stuff behind them.
yeah,
It's very interesting. I know. As I'm saying, I like that little port. I like the way it was shot. It was very murky and darkish, filled with stuff everywhere. I just it's another Star Warsian world that we've never seen before. I thought it was very cool. That was very cool.
One nice touch was as they were initially leaving, Neil stops as a fight breaks out and is just standing there watching it. And Jude Law has to come back and just like, nope, we got to keep going. We are not standing around watching people fight.
right.
They had to leave. They had to leave through the crowd, which I love. That it's like no, you go through the crowd. So I love that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a Jerry Springer fan at heart. He wanted to see that fight.
There's a documentary coming out January 7th on
I
Netflix.
saw that trailer. That's why I was thinking of it.
I'm gonna watch it. Of course, I was a Jerry Springer fan. Sorry, Jerry.
I went to a taping of the Jerry Springer show.
Did you really?
Oh,
I did.
Stamford, Connecticut.
I did, yeah. I when I
Oh,
worked for the Mets, me and a bunch of my coworkers went to a taping of the Jerry Springer show.
oh my
Yeah,
god!
and
was it
it
a
was
was it a fight-filled episode, or was it a more low-key episode?
uh so the episode started with a porn star jumping out of a pile of leaves. So that's how it started. So
Oh, nice. All right.
yeah.
So I saw Jerry Springer the opera on Broadway. I have the cast recording over here, and it was actually pretty good. I'm sorry, it was bizarre and good. And it had a nice run. It had a nice run. It was considered a hit.
The opera,
Yeah, the opera. It's called Jerry Springer the Opera. They sang. It was a musical, and
but
it was
Just the
something else.
ensemble, like are they like Jerry,
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thoroughly enjoyed myself, but I never saw Jerry in person. I always wanted to. Take care of yourselves and each other.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just
Great.
it's great.
It was a great experience.
Anyway, we digress, but yes.
So they jump to light speed, they get away, and now trying to figure out what the next thing is. First off, of course, you gotta eat. So we do get a nice scene of some blue food that Jude Law's made, and I do like how he just really makes a show of just
Oh, he
challenging.
ate. Oh, he ate. That scene went off
Yeah.
the rails. Because again, I know it was done for comedy, right? But I was laughing. I'm like, this scene is. I just stared at Homeboy's stomach growl. I laughed so hard. He's scraping that bowl, Frank. He was scraping that bowl. He was scraping it.
Yep.
Oh,
I couldn't stop. Oh my god! I thought it was. I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, it was good. I enjoyed this moment too. Just that
They
the
just go over
kids
there, the pot. And they all
because
ran over there. It was like but they literally that shot went on for like what a minute and a half. It was like
Yeah.
they kept it going. He just eating, scraping it, get every morsel that blue cornmeal or fuck that shit was. It was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. And the kids
yeah,
just-
it was so drawn out, and it
It
was
was-
just great. It was great too, because like it's like obviously these are main characters, these four kids. Like they're just kids.
yeah.
They've had this ship longer than Jude Law's been on it. They're all sitting there starving, and now Jude Law's made it his home to the point where he's cooking. He's found all the food. He knows where the kitchen is. It's like it's
It was
just,
hilarious. Hilarious.
and then he's just like, "There's more in the pot."
They ran over there. I was like, that's so. And again, we have to remember these are kids, so they wouldn't think of all this stuff. So that was a nice reminder. He's an adult, so of course he's looking around and again,
Right.
great use of always skeletons. There was another skeleton. He grabbed that knife.
That knife. Yeah.
Skeleton. There's always skeletons in every episode. You know that.
and we also get to see a little bit of how whether it's specifically SM-33 or just droids in general, he's kind of dismissive of them, especially with SM-33. He's like, here, clean this bowl up after he's done eating. And I do like Smee just like SM-33 just knocks it down. Get out of here. And we have a nice little scene between SM-33 and Jude Law where he just like I feel like SM-33 as a pirate droid kind of knows he's seen a thing or two, so he's not really buying into anything that Jude Law is saying. John, how are you feeling about SM-33 and how he's not taking any crap from Jude Law?
It's great. I love SM-33 already. I think I think that he's a great droid to add to the universe of droids that we have already. I love that like there's just this random mouse or rat or whatever that just lives inside him. That's just he's just part of the droid. Yeah, and I think it's a great way to like help make sure the kids are defended from danger, but also adding comedy, like James has mentioned, like another character for Jude Law to play off of. Like it's just I don't know. SM-33 is I think a great addition to the droids in the
Well,
Star
it's
Wars
funny.
universe.
We forgot to mention the scene where he's trying to find him was
Ah,
comical.
yeah,
And it's just one droid. He was putting that some three together. I don't even look behind him as a droid just walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
yeah,
like just like malfunctioning or whatever. So it was like this is all the place where all these droids going to die apparently. It was just like it made me laugh. Just I don't know, just made me laugh. So, but that. So I think he is. I think. Well, there are a lot of these series. They're dismissive of the droids, and some of these series are like just like they're droids. But we always find out they're much more than we need them. Apparently, almost in
yeah.
every series you need these droids. You can't you dismiss them to a point, but then you need them
Right, right.
like
It's
vital parts of the nature.
Yeah, it's funny too because I think there was a point where Jude Law or Jod had made a comment like, "Oh, you rely on a droid to let you down every time," and I was like, the one thing that I did feel was like, I feel like this is a little recycled from Mandalorian. It's like because
Right,
he hated droids coming
right,
in, and then met IG right 11 or whatever, and
right.
they had a great relationship. And I'm like, is this gonna be the same thing now? The guy hates
Well,
droids, and
I
then at
think
the end of the season, he loves SM-33. Like,
maybe that's the whole point. They all didn't like droids. Maybe people don't. Maybe that's the general feeling is that for
yeah,
me that the droids aren't good. I'm
I
fighting
feel like
a guy right now.
uh, I feel like that story that like story point of like not trusting droids. I feel like we never really see why that person like if we had seen why that experience that person had with a droid that failed him and led to some terrible stuff, but we never see that. At least in Star Wars for the droids for the most part we're seeing the C-3POs, the choppers, the R2-D2s, the droids that are they come through in the clutch. They help out whenever they need. So we feel like those are the droids we see. So it's always tough to for me when I hear a character go, you can't trust a droid. Like from the majority of Star Wars content that I've enjoyed, I feel like droids have been extremely helpful and trustworthy.
right. It's like, what's the cause of this? It's like if
Write a story. We're gonna
right
do
like
it. Why
in
droids
that
are
in that first episode, right? If like the first scene we had gotten was the captain, a droid was being like, "Oh yes, our big prize is on this ship that we're about to attack." And then Jude Law got on it, and like the wolf guy just picked up that one credit and was like, "Oh, we lost good men for one credit," and we just saw that like the droid was the one that gave the intelligence. It's like, okay, you can't trust a droid, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, we just find it's just a random episode, and we just find out that Jude Law doesn't like droids.
Like, ugh, all right. Uh, so yeah, so they have a nice little chat there, and it feels like SM-33's got his eye, because he definitely like leaves the scene and then comes back just to let
that was
John
fun.
know. Like, yeah.
I that made me laugh, like
They're doing
actually
content,
laugh.
they're doing comedy. They're doing
Yeah,
comedy. It was
because
funny.
especially because he moves so slow and his steps are so loud, so like you could literally hear him turn around to come back, and just that I, it's like I like fully laughed out loud at that. So
I did too. I did too.
yeah,
Uh, so John's got this big thing that he's pitching to the kids where it's like, I have a friend that's great at navigation, can find anything. Let's go here, get that information, and then I can get you home. So they go to the planet, but then we start hearing chatter as we see them approach. One, the kids are questioning why they parked so far away. Jod is saying, "Oh, you know, I've had a bad experience, and I just don't know if I could trust her or not. So she could stab me in the back. So I just want to be safe." But we also hear from Kim, who we'll find out, is also like, "Oh man, he's back. Let's let's get the authorities in so we can make sure we detain him." Uh, Given what we know at least this point, James, whose side are you on, or are you on neither? Do you find both Kim and Jod could be equally shady?
Oh yeah, equally shady. They're fun. They're fun. I like the exchange. The exchange was fun. We learned more about Jude Law's character a little bit just through their exchange. And I thought it was just the whole through the door with the eyes coming out, the things kind of look talking to him, and he brought kids and he making a joke on he's all yours, that kind of thing. Which means that she knows him on some level, which made me go, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So we're getting some more almost kind of backstory without getting really getting backstory, but we're getting more learn more about him through the interaction of with her.
I mean, and John, like I feel like this character kind of character archetype we see it in many of these kind of like 80s types films. Like if when you're in a jam, you go meet this person that you probably, had some falling out with in the past, so you don't know how trustworthy they're, how welcoming they are going to be to you or not. But you drop that into the Star Wars universe where it is a world of just always cool creatures and different species that you can meet. So when you do see Kim, what did you think of her appearance and how she was being depicted?
I loved it. I loved the way she looked and sounded, like the squawks on certain lines. And I trusted her immediately. My feeling was that Kim and Jod are both like treasure hunters that at some point maybe work together, and he screwed her over, and he's earned this reputation. He got thrown into the brig by his own crew. Like clearly he is like a scallywag. Who has screwed over many people, and I feel like Kim was just one of those. And so like I immediately, and the fact that Jod had to tell the kids before going in, hey, listen, this person might backstab us. I was like, all right, you're trying to set the kids up so that when Kim says like, hey, I have to call the Republic on you, you can say to the kids, look, see, I told you that she's backstabbing us. It's like no, 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 no. It's because you're actually an asshole. Uh, that's what I got from it. And I loved the look of the character Kim, the voice. I thought it was all a lot of fun. The whole scene. Yeah.
James, have you already ordered your Kim action figure?
She is cute. She's a little cutie. I was like, I did not expect it to be an owl or whatever, owl-esque or
Yeah.
whatever. But she is cute. No, I'm not gonna bring an action figure, but she's cute.
No action figure. Oh, so
But
jaded.
I like her. I feel like we do need folks like that in the universe out there who are information systems, almost like customer service. They have to be out in the galaxy like that. But I like that we have people that can go to their folks and have information. And supposed to use the keeper of all the maps and everything. She's the keeper of all that. And the
Yeah. I
100,000 places or whatever she said. So
right. I
Yeah, I mean,
imagine Kim. Oh, sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
go, John. Go for it.
I was gonna say, James, what's the name of the character in the Bad Batch? The woman who's the treasure hunter.
oh yeah, oh my God, now I'm blanking on her name.
I
Um,
don't I don't remember her name, but you know who I'm talking about. And
I do.
I imagine that character and Kim being friends.
That's what I'm saying. These shows, it's good to have. I was thinking about that too. It's good to have character like that out there. So they have information. They have information, but they're part of the chase too. But they have information. Now I'm gonna look. I'm picturing her, but I'm blanking on her name.
Right?
Yeah, I mean that character that has a certain expertise and a
Fee.
certain history.
Yes, that's the name. Yes,
It's Fee.
that's Fee. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
right. But no, yeah. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, that as I was saying that the characters that have a certain expertise and a certain history with
Yeah.
a character on the show are that's just a great archetype for any of these types of kind of
Well,
80s type stories.
like our girl on Mandalorian. It's always good to see her. I mean, she fixes everything and just she's fighting with her own people. I mean, it's I mean, to have Amy Sedaris in this whole universe kills me anyway. Just number one, I know her from other stuff. But Strangers with Candy, folks, just look it up. But she fits. I mean, she fits. So to have her show up, it's like I can see her knowing them too, probably on some level. Like I feel like in this universe, those kind of folks all kind of know each other, possibly. Yeah. I kind of think that. So yeah.
And it feels like at least just like, you know, Jod, Crimson Jack, Silvo, like it seems like his deal is he's the one that's, like I'm on the lead for the next big score.
Oh
And
yeah.
that big and it always falls apart
Right.
for some reason. And it feels like his current crew is so tired of him they threw him in the brig. So it feels like he's a person that's always searching for that huge treasure and is always falling short every single time.
And we got that from just that one. I say this all the time on shows. Give me a scene that gives me some, and we did with the pirate friend or whatever. Like I said, it was in that room back on. It's like he basically said it. That score I've always been looking. You looked right at it and said, "Remember the thing I've always been talking about." So we already get a backstory. He's been always looking for a big score. It's going to make him, And I love that. Just that one piece of dialogue explains a lot.
Yep.
While we're getting ready to find out all the stuff about Atten and try to track it down, we do cut back to the planet itself, and that's where we do see all the parents have gotten together, and they're waiting to hear back from a searcher droid. And I do like Fern's mom was like, "Oh, they've used the searcher droids have always found, me when I would hide as a kid. Why nobody's taking seriously Wim's father when he's like, nobody's gonna find him. I saw him on a spaceship that launched right into the atmosphere. They're not hiding somewhere. Uh, but yeah, we do see that the searcher droid comes in and says, "Oh, yep, they're past the Great Barrier. There's nothing we can do. Sorry about that."
Yeah.
John, where do you think the story at Atten is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be the parents trying to get a hold of the supervisor?
Yeah, I think that whoever this mysterious supervisor is, that's who we have to go and meet. I think it's interesting that even Fern's mom, right, who seems to be part of like the government in some way or something, right? Like she's the one that was visiting the school to talk to the kids about their assessment and the great work. And she has the fancy suit on and all that stuff. I feel like the fact that she even is like clueless to the point where she's like, how do we have to get our kids back. I have to talk to the supervisor. I'm going to make a direct appeal and all this stuff. Um, it makes the planet even more interesting to me. The fact that people high up, it seems like, don't even know certain protocols, and like whoever this mysterious supervisor is, that's who I think excited to meet to kind of figure out what steps happen next on Atten.
James, do you think the supervisor could potentially be a big bad for this season?
It's funny you say that. I thought we already met our person. I just feel like, I guess my thing is, I feel like this planet's been, we learned, we're going to talk about that next, but this planet's been hidden from the rest of what's going on. I feel like the big bad is the outside comes in somehow because of the kids and because of Jude Law's character. I feel like that's the biggest. So it could be that other guy who was the second in command who's mad at, it could be some. I mean, I don't know. I never thought of a actual supervisor. I just feel like it's like, I feel like the outside is the bad thing. That's what's out there. If it passes through the barrier, they're screwed.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I've been leaning towards. Is there a supervisor? I mean, I don't. Maybe there is. I don't. I just kind of. I've been thinking. I've been more on that track than anything else. I guess
Right.
that the big bad thing is the outside. That's a big thing.
That certainly could be for sure. Yeah, I think that says a lot about the show too. Is that like we're both enjoying it, like we're all enjoying it, we're having a good time with it, having a lot of fun, and none of us are really sure where it's going to go. And I feel like, yeah, and I feel like it's too often in TV shows these days where people start to get upset, like where is this going? And it's like, no, I enjoy the fact that we're enjoying the show, and we don't know what's going to happen.
I seriously can't make no prediction. I don't.
Yeah.
My prediction is that I could possibly see. They keep saying the barrier, the barrier, the barrier. I'm like, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know at the very end, or if this will be half the season. But I feel like something's going to come. It's going to burst their bubble.
Yeah.
literally.
Because I feel like the challenge with any show that has like a mystery box element is that it's like you don't want to drag the audience is out too long in terms of giving them answers. So and just tease them like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of questions, but we're never giving you answers. And I felt so far, Skeleton Crew, especially this third episode, did a good job of like, yes, we kind of started answering some of the questions, but they also lead to other these answers give other questions. So it kind of keeps you more invested. You're feeling you're discovering and you're interested to continue on with the journey along with these characters.
Folks, if you ever watched Under the Dome, then you'll know what I'm about to say. Um, that was a show that went on way too long. I did that after show at AfterBuzz TV, Frank. That was one of the first ones I ever did after GH Report. Me and Jackie B and Manafield's been to that show, Hot Ladies. Because I read the book, I read the little novella of it. It's a Stephen King of a thing, but the series went on a season and a half too long because again, there was a bear. It was literally they're under a dome, and it took forever to get like some kind of answer. Like the first season, I loved it. Second season, I said half of it was okay, and then the third season went crazy. So I agree with Frank with this. They keep mentioning the barriers. I'm thinking that has to that has to be the problem because they are separate from the rest of the Star Wars universe. So that has to be permeated somehow. And I feel like I'm with you. Hopefully, within this short 8 episode season, we'll find out all that that stuff.
I feel like, it's interesting because even with the barrier idea, like it makes me feel like there could be something more sinister, a more another villain within Ad-Aden. Like the fact that like you're essentially holding an entire planet hostage, right? The fact that these people don't even know that the war happened between the rebels and the Galactic Empire. The fact that they've barely learned about Coruscant and don't even know that Alderaan was eviscerated. You know what I mean? It's like the fact that like you're not letting these people leave. Any movement past the barrier is illegal. Any contact past the barrier is illegal. It almost makes it feel like there's something more sinister on Ad-Aden that we haven't found out about yet.
But see, I think it's outside of Ad. That's so funny.
And
I'm thinking
it certainly could be. It certainly could be. But
they're trying to
yeah,
protect Ad, because
yeah,
as I guess we could go into it next one. She talks about there were so many of these planets, they were all destroyed except for one.
except for one. Yeah,
it was like a fable to people. They don't
right.
realize it's for real. So I feel like it's someone on the outside
It could be. But
controlling.
even honestly, even that makes me wonder, right? Because they said something about the jewels of the galaxy or whatever that Kim said, right? And it's like, all right, well, if these planets were special in some way, and Ad-Aden is the only one that still exists, is it somehow that Ad-Aden is responsible for the rest of them being destroyed? You know what I mean? Like, is there something more sinister on the inside of that barrier than on the outside? And I like the fact that we even disagree about that and have questions about that, and that's a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's just another way that the show is doing a good job.
Well, because the whole point of having just one, get that whole kind of brief story. Yeah, why is only one left? If the
Right.
other is destroyed, then what is about this one that it's not? And then the folks out there don't know about it, or they heard it, but it's like a fable. It's like you're crazy. It doesn't exist anymore. You're crazy. So I'm like, so it's funny. You're right that you're thinking inside. I'm thinking outside.
Yeah.
Frank, like,
I'm thinking
what do you think?
I'm thinking the middle.
I was waiting for you. I was waiting for. I thought you could do like in the Bible with Solomon, just tear the baby in half.
That's right.
You get a baby, you get a baby, have a baby,
You get a baby.
baby.
It's I mean I feel like there's still definitely that's why I'm interested to meet the supervisor character to see what their deal is because like as the kids talk about earlier it's like well yeah so many of our parents are analysts what is there to analyze and so is the question is all this work like for something is it just busy work to distract the populace from something else you know as Kim tells the kids that there were a series of planets these jewels that had these incredibly important resources that were hidden just to protect them. And eventually, all of the planets were destroyed except for Ad-Aten. And that's still lost. But and so while everybody refers to it as a treasure, nobody can really say conclusively as of yet what this treasure is. Whether it's something that's still useful in this day and age or not? I don't know. I guess those are questions that we're still waiting to get answered. So yeah, I can see it being a combination of people break coming from the outside in, but also that there's something corrupt happening within AT-AT too that it's like, hey, we could have revealed ourselves to the galaxy by now, but for some reason this supervisor or people that the supervisor is working with have, wanted to keep this planet to themselves for some reason.
But see, I don't think of the supervisor maybe being a bad person either. Maybe just be a person who's in control
Very
and,
true.
and trying to keep it, just trying to keep the planet safe. And so I'm almost afraid when Frank said the thing about maybe it's just busy work. Maybe all these folks
Yeah,
are, they're not, maybe it's something, maybe it's just busy work. And
true.
that's it, but I feel like the supervisor, or maybe there isn't a big baddie on the inside. It's just, and then John's done. He's like, I'm done. That's it. No, fuck you all. No, I was saying, I mean, I feel like that person may not be the big baddie. It may just be somebody who's like trying to keep the planet intact because they know more than maybe the others know.
Yeah.
So may
No,
not
that's
necessarily be bad. Just may just be just they just trying to keep it in control.
it was interesting that we really kind of settle in when we're talking looking at the parents, really settle in on Wim's dad. And just see him being, I don't know. I'm curious to see what next steps he takes because I feel like he's frustrated by just the lack of caring that, not just his kid, but three other kids are out in space on a ship that, like how the heck did they get access to this? All these questions that he has, and I feel like he's realizing he's not going to get the answers or the satisfaction that he's hoping to get.
I feel like they want us to feel something for him that I think he's supposed to be our main guy, right? For the adults
Yeah.
that started out with him and Wim. So so his name's Wendell. He's the main guy. I don't really care for him, whatever, I'm like, whatever. But I feel like he's the main guy you're trying to focus on, even though Fern's mother has a big role too, and they had the most lines. And she's like, but she's involved in whatever's going on. So I'm like, and I'd laugh at John said, when they got together, I saw them next to each other. I was like, how funny when they got together.
Yeah.
But I just feel like his character to me, he's not likable to me at all. So I mean, he's not a likable character. So that could change, but maybe that's the point. That he's going to change at some point or something.
Yeah, do you want
Yeah.
to see that kind of familiar archetype, James, where the strict mother or father or both in this case, uh, through an adventure that their kids are on, uh, comes to a better understanding of how to be a more present parent to their child.
Well, because the show is child esque and child friendly, that archetype is that's what it is. I don't know whether I like it or not. I don't think that's even important. I just think that's how you see that's the message. If kids watch this, they want them to feel like, yeah, see, the parents just don't understand. No. And then long reference, folks. You guys are older. Um, and then um, and then at the end they come around, right? The parents are secondary. They're secondary. When that's that they're not even they're semi important. I think to this series. It's all about the kids, and then Jude
Mhm.
Law or whatever. So that's what we see in these kid friendly shows and movies. That's kind of how it always is. So I don't know. I have nothing for or against it. It's fine.
James, just know that your opinion always matters to me, James.
Yeah.
You just don't understand.
Yeah.
John, are you ready to see just two parents come to appreciate their children in a different way? And as soon as they come back, to planet side, they'll give them a big running hug. I'm so Dad, I'm so sorry. No, I'm sorry, women. I'll be better.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like it almost feels like the parents are programmed. You know what I mean? Like it's like you got Wendell, right? With he's missing his son. You've got the Fern's mother missing her. And I feel like these are two smart people that are, analysts of some kind. And it feels like now that they've lost their kids, like they've realized that okay, something's not right here. Like even like there were a couple of scenes where the parents were freaking out and they just showed Wendell. And there was one point he was like he wasn't really saying anything. He took his glasses off. Like you could tell he was really thinking a lot. And like it made me feel like he was thinking to himself, like, what have I been doing? Because like when the show started, it was like he all these parents seem very detached, right? We saw Wim's father plopping down money on the kitchen counter for the entire week's worth of lunches. It's like, listen, you're not really going to see me this week. And I feel like maybe some of these parents are now being like, what's going on here for real? Like something seems wrong here. Our kids are missing, and we're just being told there's nothing that can be done about it because they're out past the barrier. And it's like, are all these parents, have they been so distracted because they when they were kids they did their own assessment and they were given their post in the great work and that's all they've been focusing on? And it's like now that a big, you know, clearly this isn't something that's happened for a very long time, right? That kids from this planet got lost somewhere if it's ever happened before. And it's like, all right, well now that the real emergency has happened and we're not just thinking about the great work and my supervisor reports and this and that, like where Wim's father was so focused on that before, it's like now that they've got to actually worry about something, their kids being missing, it's like now it's like, what are we even doing here? Why can't we find our kids? Why is this not allowed? Why can't we make contact with the Republic? Why can't we tell them that our kids are in trouble? Does this planet even have any connection to the Republic? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here?
That's true. Uh, yeah, I mean, and I mean, it's not just like there was a ship. Like, was it hidden by and in a restricted area? So did supervisor or whoever is around him, deliberately cover up this downed spaceship? Did that happen before Atten really became the sprawling metropolis that it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
And like, why does SM-33 have memory in his memory bank of every planet they visited except for Ad-Aden, even though his ship was apparently stuck there, marooned there for however long, you know? Like,
Uh, so Kim shows them this map, talks about the jewels, and then figures out, hey, I can help you try locate this, and starts asking the kids some questions about what do you see when you look out into the sky? Sees the patch that Fern's mom gave her for being top of the class, which has some iconography on there that she's able to use to further kind of refine the search. And Crimson Jack kind of notices that Kim's just stalling. It's like, wait a minute, are you drawing this out just to get me in trouble? Yes, Captain Jack. So which he does exactly what John said, where he's like, "See what I told you, kids? She's crazy. She's turning on us. Oh, we got to get out of here." But I like that KB didn't fall for it.
yeah,
And we see as everybody leaves, she comes back and just chats for a second, checks in on her, and says, "Hey, yeah, I don't trust him either, but he's useful to us at this point, so we're still gonna go. We're still gonna go with him."
yeah,
As she says, if you need anything, you can always come back and get my help.
That's true. I feel like, hey, that's a season two character right
Right,
there.
right.
yeah,
I again, I love that whole sequence. It was really funny. Her flying and all the stuff falling on her. It made me laugh. It was kind of fun. That she double crossed him a bit. That he knew it. Again, we're getting more interaction between them. We're getting more of a sense of kind of their relationship. So it's filling in some blanks even with that. So I appreciate that. But he's like, let's get out of here. So
yeah.
I like that whole sequence was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I do like that the kids they could all race on a ship because they know that there are New Republic X-wings on their way.
Here, get some X-wings.
Yeah.
Get some X-wings, baby.
I'm in.
But the kids stop them right outside the landing door, and Smee's right up there with an arc welder as well as backup. And they want to know what the real deal is with Crimson Jack. And John, what do you take of it for where he says that he's lost as well? He's like, I'm like you, I'm lost.
Yeah, I think he's being half truthful. Um,
Yeah,
he's telling them that he's lost and alone, and there's truth in that.
right.
But he's not telling them that he's a dangerous person that they should
Oh yeah, of course.
be wary of. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really willing to admit that to them yet. That he is this dangerous person that should have been in jail, and that Kim should have reported. And maybe he's just almost not willing to accept that himself. You know, maybe he's sees himself in a better light than he's shown other people that he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, James, he fesses up that Like, no, I'm not a Jedi. I mean, I never said I was a Jedi. You guys just said it, and I didn't disagree. So,
Yeah, that whole scene was a little fantastical. Um, but it's fine. I mean, it's like again, it just shows that he must need them. He needs them on some level now because he has an agenda. That was a different agenda before, but now he has an agenda, which is to get to at and get some riches. That's his agenda. So he will appease them. He will answer questions. He'll do what he got to do. But I think you're right. He has a goal now. He wants riches, and he wants to finally make a good score. And at Atten's where it's at.
No.
yeah, and I mean, I do like that the kids are, for even if they don't know all the mysteries of Crimson Jack there, they do know that they can't completely trust him. So it's, so they're aware that they could be screwed at any time. And so they got to keep their eyes out, which I do like. That's a nice dynamic. It's not like the kids are just still kind of Pollyannish about, the whole experience of hanging out with them.
Well, Wim is, and Neil is a little bit. They're probably honest, kind of probably
Yeah.
out of the four. But I love it. We're getting more defined definition of each of the four kids. And Wim has really enjoyed this adventure. He sees it as an adventure completely. He is completely in this adventure. He hasn't even mentioned about going home. I mean, everybody else does, but he's kind of like he's kind of having fun. I think with this
Oh
whole thing.
yeah. He's ready. He's ready to just keep exploring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's funny, like there's certain things about each of these kids that I've really enjoyed too. Like Wim, I love because he's just this adventurous kid that just wants to see the galaxy and do all these cool things and become a Jedi. I like Neil because he has that adventurous spirit, but is definitely a little bit more shy and timid. KB actually might be like my favorite character. Like she's just so
Okay.
smart, she's so funny. I really enjoy KB. And then I loved in this episode with Fern because Fern in the first couple episodes was like the confident, cocky kid that was like the leader that knew everything and was just too smart for all the other kids. And then in this episode, we're seeing her when Kim is talking about, there's at least 1,000 planets about this, and oh, we need to find Ad-Atten. Well, we've narrowed it down to 10,000 worlds, and every time Fern is like, "There's 1,000 worlds." Oh wait, there's 10,000 worlds? It's like, oh, this cocky, confident kid that thought she knew everything is learning that this universe is way bigger than she ever bargained for. And it's like watching her get a little bit of that medicine back that she was given before. It's like, oh, you thought you knew everything. It's like you know nothing. And I like that each character of these kids is having their own little story.
I agree. I agree.
Uh, we do get to see as they're in pursuit now. They do make the agreement that it's like, you're not our friend, you're our employee. So yes, so you're working for us to get us home, and then you will get paid by getting us home.
Yes.
So uh, so the kids and Chris and Jack are all on the same page. They try to get, and now it's how to get away from these X-Wings. And here we get a little bit more of the gripey, whiny win, which I'm always irritated by. Where he lets Neil pilot the ship, and he takes Fern and Wim, who's already complaining the whole time. Well, why does he get to fly? Until he sees that he gets to man a gun turret, and then he's like, "Oh, all right,
I'm excited. Yes. That was fun. That was fun. Oh, that's fun. That's how that's kids. Kids are
yeah."
whiny. That's what they do. That's what they are. So I love it. I loved it.
Ugh. But in real life, it's nice that you get to just walk away from it.
Oh, I step around. I step around when I get. Oh, no. I don't do that. I didn't beat my children. I'm sorry. I didn't. No. Yeah. Not in real life. Not fun at all. I'm saying this is just on a show. Yeah, it's great. Just watching from afar.
Yeah, and so KB gets the coordinates in for hyperspace based on the computer card that Crimson Jet takes, and once they're clear of the moon, we're a go. And
Yeah.
yeah, to where? Who knows?
That's where it ended. It was like, we don't know.
Yeah.
It was another one of those shorter episodes. It's like 39 minutes or 36 minutes or something. It was like something short again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I am curious to see if we get back to Ad-Atten right next episode, and then it becomes a mystery of like exploring what Ad-Atten is all about. I don't know. I'd be curious.
I don't think we're going to add that next episode for some reason. I don't think we are. I feel like there's one more thing they're gonna do, and then get back there. I think I could be completely wrong, of course. So don't quote me, folks. But I'm thinking. I feel like it's too soon. Like that. I feel like next episode will be halfway through. I think that added stuff's going to happen towards the second end of the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess John, I guess we'll kind of get the sense of where this season is heading based on next episode. Because I feel
Yeah.
like if we're immediately back at Ad Atten, then I feel like then we know like the thrust of the rest of the season is discovering the mysteries of Ad Atten. And if we're not there yet and we're exploring some other planets, then I could buy into what you were saying that there's some other, big bad out there that we're going to be meeting, and that's somebody where they could follow everybody back to Ad Atten.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I thought we saw. I thought wasn't a description that they're out and about in the universe anyway, having adventures, trying to get home. I thought so.
Yeah.
I felt like it's. I see. I felt this season was going to be more about them encountering, adventure of the week, and then towards the end, either do they make it home and they bring problems with them and it ends, or I mean, I'm thinking at Atten actually not much would happen until towards the end. That's my original
Yeah.
thought. It's kinda like it's an adventure series, right? It's the kids away from their parents. They might at some point they're gonna miss their parents. Have those talks like, my dad was always working, but I loved him anyway. Like I feel like they gotta be out in space more. I feel like I mean I don't know what the series is gonna do, but I feel like I gotta be out. You gotta be out a few more, John.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. Like I honestly, I feel like I can't even guess. Like, because I could see both things. I could see them going right back to Ad Atten, and you have Jude Law there trying to say, like, "Oh, I brought your kids back and give me my reward," and then maybe that whole spaceport of pirates follows them back
Right,
to Ad Atten, and
right.
that's the big bad is all these pirates coming and getting them or something, like,
See?
um,
The outside.
or
That's the
yeah.
bad.
Or maybe there's some stumble and they don't get back to Ad Atten for a couple more episodes, and then we find out more about that. I really, honestly, I have no like feeling that's pulling me in one direction or the other. I truly just have no idea. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this could be either the whole arc of the season is by the end of it, Ad Atten has like pulled down the Great Barrier and they're ready to kind of emerge back into the galaxy,
hmm,
and that's it. And then if there was another season, now we're just seeing what it's like when, the whole galaxy is aware of Ad Adam's existence. Or maybe it's we find out that, there was maybe at one point a treasure of Ad Adam, but it's gone now, or it's, depleted, and, whoever the supervisor is just, you know, just to keep everybody safe, which is like, we're just gonna keep doing what we've been doing. We don't have any treasures, but at least, we're still a safe community.
yeah.
So who knows? I'll be curious to see where it goes.
Because
Yeah.
it really is one of these series that I just like when I'm with John, it could go any direction. Again, we're dealing with kids and the tone of the show. And like I said, there's comedy in it. But I thought I heard the trailer was they're going on a space adventure trying to find their way home.
Yeah. Who
So
knows? Maybe we could be halfway right too, where it's they've got the right coordinates, but halfway into hyperspace, the ship breaks down.
right.
Now they have a whole other problem. They got to get someone to come rescue them in space. And they've got to
They
do,
go to,
who knows? Literally anything could happen.
I agree with you. Or they go to a planet, have adventures there, while trying to fix a spaceship. I mean, anything could happen. Anything. Or yeah, anything.
Maybe
Yeah, I
they'll
mean
run
that's
into
really.
Mando and Grogu. Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe episode 4 of Skeleton Crew will be all Mando.
Oh God,
oh,
don't say that. Do not even say that.
And then at the very end we'll see Jude Law and he'll just go
So at the
give a
very
nod
end, at the very end, you'll see Jaleel White, who
and just give a
his name is Hunter. I looked up. His name is Hunter.
okay.
So, but again, he had like a little tiny part.
Yeah.
Little tiny part.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I mean, given how well the show seems to be received so far,
Yes.
I mean, it's like, since Mandalorian and Andor,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, like this is like the next one that's received like the best
Yep.
kind of critical and viewer praise. So
Yeah.
I could see a season two, at least at this point, if it continues at this level. I could see a season two happening then.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I mean, I think so far there's lots of potential. Ended on a good cliffhanger, and then just like, yeah.
Do you feel at all like this crew of kids and seeing how this show goes could be a little bit of a test for our, maybe one of these kids ends up being force sensitive. Maybe this is our new core of stars for a future movie or trilogy or something like that in the Star Wars universe. You think that Star Wars, like Lucasfilm, could be testing these younger characters as like a future group to build something more around later?
I mean, I mean, ideally, it's like Star Wars was kind of, yeah, as much as George Lucas would say, it was made for the kids, you know. And certainly, I guess a lot of kids who are huge fans now are working on these shows. First saw those movies, so to have a show where it's creating new kid characters of kid age to kind of attract, this next generation of Star Wars fans could be to have characters that they could grow up with as well.
Yeah.
But are kids watching the show? That's what I want to know.
Well, did you ask your
Hold on.
grandkids, James?
My grandkids are watching it.
Did you make them grow at it? Order them to, James.
Yeah. Order
I'm
them
Yeah,
to.
yeah, that's gonna work. I don't live near them. I'm not their parent. Yeah, of course, it's gonna work for me.
All you have to do is get, give like a little menacing walk and force them to watch it, and then if they say no, just turn around and go, I.
Your grandfather. No, I don't know any kids who are watching. I know adults who are watching it, but I don't know any kids who are watching it. So I'm like, that's a good question.
I know my
James,
nephews. My nephews are watching it.
oh,
Okay.
nice.
So, yeah.
James, you're part of the Hollywood elite. You need to be promoting not just JLJ media content, but greater Hollywood content as well. That's what you gotta, it's your responsibility as a Hollywood mogul.
Mogul. But my grandkids don't give a crap about me when I do, so they don't care. They don't watch
What?
my. They just on Papa Jamie. That's all they care about. I'm bringing them presents for Christmas. That's all they care about. They don't know. They don't watch my shit.
Wait,
They
wait,
don't
wait.
care.
Have you told him about John?
Oh, they don't care about that either. They don't care about that stuff. They don't care about any of that stuff.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. About how
Just
handsome he is?
They don't care. They don't watch my shit. My daughter used to watch all my stuff. She don't watch my stuff anymore either. They don't watch it anymore. They've
just
all moved on. They've all moved on, Frank. It's other
just
thing.
just
I
continue
feel
to
like
buy
you're
them all Star Wars stuff
Exactly.
as
Exactly.
presents until they give in.
They get, they get,
Just keep buying all of them the complete box set
right,
of the
exactly.
Star Wars movie, Star Wars franchise.
But actually, I bought my daughter the complete box set of Nightmare on Elm Street. That's another story, but she liked that.
Mm.
I don't know, just give him like a hard drive that's filled with all the JLJ media after Star Wars after shows.
That's I choked all the that's I don't know why I started choking on that, but Frank, but we have a lot of content, folks out there. It's all hits. It's all hits.
Yes.
This show's a hit too. So thank you, everybody. But they
There you
don't care.
go. Give your family a chance to truly enjoy, the great work that you do.
They don't give two shits, folks. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They don't care. They don't care. None of them give. They just know that either I'm cousin James or Papa James, or he's famous. He does stuff. That's all they know. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't watch it. I do it for the fans, not for my family. For the
Okay.
fans,
There you
for the Lotties. I do it for them.
OnlyFans.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said for the Lotties, the fans. No, only in front of it, the fans.
go. Okay.
Only lots.
Only lots, only lots. Yeah, only lots. No, we don't do that. Yeah, no.
All right, everybody. That is going to do it for this episode of the Skeleton Crew After Show right here on JLJ Media. But the fun does not stop because we will be back here next Thursday night.
Right, next
Same.
Thursday, right, John? John, next Thursday?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. Very exciting. And then of course the holiday is going to be coming. So just stay posted on follow JLJ Media on social media. James will keep you up to date about what's going to be happening during the holidays in terms of when we're going to be on
Yeah.
and stuff. Because people are traveling, friends, family, holiday plans. But don't worry, we will be covering every episode.
There we go.
And yes, and James will let you know exactly when you can catch all those episodes. But in the meantime, if you want to stay in touch with any of us, even after the show's over, John Dunphy, where can they hit you up for like boudoir photos?
Yeah, anybody out there that's looking for feet pics, you can find me at jdun89 on Instagram. And Twitter, James, I'm sorry. If you want to find me for totally normal and not
Hey,
inappropriate content, I like to play music and take pictures of the sky. So you can find me at jdun89 on Instagram and Twitter. If you're interested in reality, TV, like competitive reality TV, I do a podcast called Strat Chat Podcast. You can find us at Strat Chat Pod. We talk about The Challenge, Survivor, Big Brother, all that kind of stuff. So
But you're not talking about the floor.
the floor.
Come on.
No,
All right. Lego Masters,
I'm sorry.
Lego
Crime
man.
Scene Kitchen.
No, I'm sorry.
You said competitive. The Great Baking Challenge.
Yeah.
No, actually, those I always catch those little snippets on TikTok, and they're hilarious. Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to squirt that hole bigger, and I was like, "Boy, what are they talking about on the show?"
I do like the Great British Bake Off. You know that one?
Yeah, that's the one too that has those weird. They
Yeah.
always make some clips of them. I'm like, what are they talking about on this show?
No.
All right. The Great Holiday Lights Competition
Oh
on
my
ABC.
god, I watched that one year. I did,
Oof.
and I
I'm
even
just a, I'm just annoyed they didn't bring back Big Brother reindeer games because that was a hit last year.
did they do any
Uh,
Big Brother winter stuff? No Big Brother winter stuff. Period.
Yeah.
yeah. I did read an article where they said that just because of the strike and the way everything was going, that just didn't work out this year, but they would like to do it next year. So fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Yeah.
James Lott Jr., our founder, our North Star,
Our God.
our amen. Where can they find you?
We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms.
And make sure to join James and myself this coming Sunday for the winter finale
Yep.
of the GH Mini Spotlight, as well as the whole Sub Sunday block.
What
Yeah,
time are you guys on Sunday?
for your time, it would be 4 o'clock.
Okay, I think I can tune in then. I have to work Annie earlier in the day, but I should be home by then.
Yeah, because we're doing me, Tabby Govea, and Amanda Russell. We're doing the winter finale of Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful, and then Frank and I will doing General Hospital. We'll be talking
Awesome.
about that.
All right, I'm gonna tune in to see your beautiful faces.
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out, John. Work it out.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow,
It's
your
only a
day
day away.
What's
Mwah.
happening?
Follow me on all social media at Happy Go Jackie, folks. What better way to end this than a musical outro? We'll see you next time on the Skeleton Crew After Show right here on JLJ Media.